3 days after the battle, Earth's military command gathered again. The mood was different now. They had survived. They had won against impossible odds. But victory came with a heavy price, and everyone in the room felt it. Dr. Hana Kim stood at the presentation console. She had returned from Nexus Prime with intelligence data about the Council's 7-member species. Now she shared what she knew. The Council homeworlds are defenseless, she said, bringing up star maps. They sent everything to attack us. Their entire combined fleet. Every military ship, every orbital defense platform, every armed station. All destroyed here at Earth. Their worlds are completely exposed. Admiral Dongwu studied the maps carefully. 7 worlds. 7 ancient species who had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. All of them vulnerable now. Some people will say we should show mercy, one admiral said. We won the battle. We proved we can defend ourselves. Isn't that enough? No, the voice came from the doorway. Everyone turned. A woman in a medical gown stood there, supported by 2 nurses. Her face was badly burned. Her left arm was in a cast. Admiral Lee, General Myung-suk jumped up. You should be in the hospital. I was in the hospital, Ji-won replied, limping into the room. But I heard we're planning a counterattack, and there's no way I'm missing this meeting. Dongwu smiled despite everything. Ji-won had been recovered from her escape pod by a search team. She was hurt badly, but alive. Commander Lee, you're supposed to be dead. I got better, Ji-won said. She reached the table and leaned on it heavily. Now where were we? Oh yes, someone was suggesting mercy. Let me tell you about mercy. The Council fabricated evidence against us. They sent a fleet to exterminate our entire species. They killed 8 million civilians, including my sister and her 2 children. So no, mercy is not on the table. The room was silent. Finally, Admiral Dongwu spoke. Commander Lee is right. If we don't respond, if we show weakness now, others will attack us. The galaxy needs to understand that humanity cannot be threatened. We need to make an example. Then let's make it clear, General Myung-suk said. We'll target military installations only. No civilian populations. We're not genocidal, but we will cripple their ability to threaten us ever again. Engineer Subin brought up a new display. I've been working on something I call the Judgment Protocol. It's a weapons system designed to disable planetary infrastructure, power grids, communication networks, military facilities. It will take years for them to rebuild. How many ships do we have ready for this? Dongwu asked. 30 warships are combat ready, Captain Byung-ho reported. Not as many as we had, but enough. Especially since they have no defenses left. Dongwu looked at Ji-won. Commander, are you fit for duty? I can sit in a command chair, Ji-won replied. That's all I need to do. Then you'll lead the strike fleet, Dongwu said. Take the new flagship, the ESS Retribution. You've earned it. Over the next 2 days, Earth prepared for war. The strike fleet assembled in orbit. 30 warships carrying humanity's full military might. They would split into 7 battle groups, 1 for each Council homeworld. Ji-won stood on the bridge of the ESS Retribution, the newest and most powerful ship in Earth's fleet. It had been completed just before the Council attack. Now it would carry humanity's revenge to the stars. Captain Dong-min Shin commanded a destroyer called the ESS Wrathful. He was young, only 32, but he had distinguished himself in the battle. His ship would be part of Ji-won's group, targeting the Velkari homeworld. Major Hye-won Baek commanded the Marine boarding teams. She was a veteran of Earth's military, with 20 years of experience. Her teams would seize any important facilities and gather evidence of the Council's crimes. All battle groups report ready, Lieutenant Jae-sung said. He had also survived the Vengeance's destruction and insisted on serving with Ji-won again. Then it's time, Ji-won said. All ships jump to hyperspace. Target Velkar Prime. Let's teach the Council what happens when you attack Earth. The strike fleet disappeared into hyperspace. The journey to Velkar Prime took 8 hours. When they emerged at the edge of the Velkari system, they found exactly what Dr. Hana had promised. No defenses, no military ships, nothing but civilian stations and a beautiful blue-green planet. Ji-won opened a channel to the planet's surface. She wanted them to hear this. People of Velkar Prime, this is Admiral Ji-won Lee of Earth. Your Council declared war on humanity without cause. You fabricated evidence. You attacked our home. You killed 8 million of our people. Now you will pay the price for that decision. On Velkar Prime, in the Grand Council chambers, the Velkari elders gathered in panic. They had received word of their fleet's destruction days ago, but they never imagined humanity would counterattack. It went against everything they knew about younger species. Young species were supposed to be grateful for survival, not vengeful. We must negotiate, one elder said. Offer them reparations, technology, anything they want. But Jiwan wasn't interested in negotiation. All ships execute Judgment Protocol. Target all military installations, shipyards, and orbital platforms. Avoid civilian casualties where possible, but complete the mission. Earth ships spread out across the system, their weapons locked onto targets with perfect precision. The Velkari had no shields, no defenses, no way to stop what was coming. The attack was surgical and devastating. Every military installation was destroyed in minutes. Every shipyard was reduced to debris. Every orbital weapons platform was vaporized. The Velkari's entire military infrastructure was gone. Captain Dong Min took his destroyer to the Council's administrative station above the planet. Major Beck, you're up. Take that station. I want all their records. Yes, sir, Hayawan replied. Her marine teams launched from the Wrathful in assault pods. They breached the station's hull and fought through the corridors. The Velkari guards were no match for human soldiers. Within an hour, the station was secured. Hayawan found the main computer core and downloaded everything. Military orders, communication logs, plans for the attack on Earth, all of it. Evidence that would prove to the entire galaxy exactly what the Council had done. Jiwan sent one final message to Velkar Prime. Your military is destroyed. Your defenses are gone, but we're leaving your civilians alive. Consider this mercy. We could have done much worse. Remember this day. Remember what humanity is capable of and never threaten us again. While Jiwan's group hit Velkar Prime, the other 6 battle groups struck their targets simultaneously. The galaxy watched in shock as humanity systematically dismantled the military power of 7 ancient civilizations in a single day. On Thulos 4, the insectoid warriors tried to fight with their personal weapons. It was useless against orbital bombardment. Their hive cities stood defenseless as Earth's ships destroyed every military structure. The Merethi ring station was torn apart, section by section. The aquatic species had nowhere to hide in the vacuum of space. They surrendered within minutes, but Earth's forces completed their mission anyway. Krivos, the manufacturing hub, saw its factories and shipyards reduced to molten metal. The cybernetic Krivari tried to upload themselves into their network to escape, but Earth's hackers were waiting. They crashed the entire planetary computer system. On Selen, the telepathic Selenites tried to use their mental powers against human crews. It didn't work. Humans were too different, too chaotic. The telepaths couldn't read human minds clearly. They surrendered when their Paradise world's orbital weapons were destroyed. Dravik's world burned as Earth's ships targeted underground military bunkers. The reptilian Dravikians were tough, but they couldn't fight back without weapons. Their desert planet was left defenseless. The Caldera sphere was the last target. The Lumi energy beings thought they were safe. They existed in a state between matter and energy, living in a Dyson swarm around their star. No weapon could harm them. But engineer Subin had prepared for this. She had studied the Lumi for years. She knew their weakness. The quantum field disruptor was designed specifically for energy beings. When activated, it forced them into physical form. The Lumi screamed across all frequencies as they were suddenly made solid. Half their population died instantly, unable to survive in physical form. The rest begged for mercy. You get the same mercy you showed us, the Earth commander responded. None. But he stopped the attack after their military capabilities were destroyed. The Lumi surrendered unconditionally, offering anything Earth wanted. In 24 hours, 7 civilizations that had ruled the galaxy for millennia were brought to their knees. Their fleets were destroyed. Their defenses were gone. Their authority was shattered, and humanity was just getting started. Admiral Dongwu received reports from all 7 battle groups. Complete success. Minimal casualties. The mission had gone better than anyone hoped. He sat in his office and thought about the price of this victory. 8 million dead civilians. Thousands of soldiers lost in the battle. Jiwan nearly killed. Taeyang dead on Nexus Prime. But Earth was safe now. No one would threaten humanity again. Not after this demonstration of power. The question was, what came next? The Council fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, like a swarm of metal insects. 200 warships, each one larger than most human vessels. Their hulls gleamed with shield energy. Their weapons were already powered up. On the flagship, the Council commander looked at his displays with satisfaction. The human fleet was small and scattered. This would be over quickly. Humanity would learn what happened to species who broke the rules. All ships advance in formation Delta 7, the commander ordered. Destroy their military installations first, then target their shipyards. Leave the planet intact for occupation. The massive fleet began moving forward, engines burning bright against the darkness. They moved in tight formation, ships close together, a show of unity and strength. It was the standard Council battle approach, proven over thousands of years. In Earth's command center, Admiral Dongwu watched the enemy advance. His face was calm, but his heart was pounding. How long until they reach the activation zone? 18 minutes, Engineer Subin replied. Her hands moved across controls, making final adjustments to Project Reckoning. The gravity satellites were ready. They just needed the Council fleet to get a little closer. Admiral Jiwan Lee stood on the bridge of the ESS Vengeance. Around her were 12 other human dreadnoughts, the strongest ships in Earth's fleet. Behind them, nothing. No reinforcements, no backup, just empty space. All ships report ready, Lieutenant Jae Sung said. He looked nervous but determined. Then let's give them a show, Jiwan said. All ships full speed ahead. Direct course to their center. Make them think we've lost our minds. The 13 human ships accelerated straight at the Council fleet. It looked suicidal. 200 ships against 13. The odds were impossible. The Council commander laughed when he saw the human approach. Fools, they're panicking. All forward batteries concentrate fire on the approaching vessels. Show them the price of defiance. 100 Council ships opened fire at once. Energy beams and plasma bolts filled space. The storm of fire converged on the 13 human ships. Shields at maximum, Jiwan ordered calmly. Maintain course. Wait for it. The weapons hit the human ships like a hammer. Shields flared bright, struggling against the massive damage. Warning alarms screamed on every bridge. But the human ships held together. Earth's engineers had built them tough. Now, Jiwan shouted. The 13 ships scattered in different directions, breaking formation instantly. They had never intended to ram the Council fleet. It was a distraction, and the Council had fallen for it completely. Activate Project Reckoning, Admiral Dongwu commanded. Subin pressed a single button. Around Earth, hundreds of satellites came to life. Gravity wells appeared throughout the Council fleet formation, invisible but devastating. The first ship didn't understand what was happening. Its helm controls stopped responding. The ship began drifting sideways, pulled by forces the crew couldn't see. Then it crashed into the vessel next to it. Both ships exploded. Chaos spread through the Council formation like fire. Ships collided with each other as gravity wells pulled them off course. Their tight formation, meant to show strength, became a death trap. Captains tried to break away, but the gravity fields were everywhere, overlapping, constantly shifting. Increase power to zones 3 and 7, Subin said, watching her displays. She was like a conductor directing an orchestra of destruction. Every gravity well was a weapon, and she knew exactly where to place them. Captain Byung-ho watched from orbital platform Omega. All platforms fire at will. Target the command ships. Earth's orbital weapons opened up. These weren't the small defensive guns the Council expected. These were mass drivers, rail guns that fired metal projectiles at incredible speeds. The projectiles punched through Council shields and tore through hulls. Jiwan brought the ESS Vengeance around for another attack run. Target that dreadnought. The big one. That's their command ship. Lieutenant Jae Sung worked his controls quickly. Target locked. But Commander, their shields are too strong. We can't penetrate them. Jiwan looked at the massive enemy flagship. It was 3 times the size of her ship. Its shields glowed with power. Conventional weapons wouldn't be enough. Then we use an unconventional weapon, she said quietly. Set ramming course. Full speed. Her bridge crew stared at her in shock. Commander, that's suicide, one officer protested. No, Jiwan replied. It's necessary. Our shields are experimental. Theirs are old technology. Physics says we should be able to punch through, and if we take out their command ship, we win this battle. She opened a channel to the other ships in her strike group. This is Admiral Lee. I'm going to ram the Council flagship. The rest of you break off and engage other targets. That's an order. Ma'am, we can't let you, one captain began. You can and you will, Jiwan interrupted. Someone has to do this. Better me than you. You all have families waiting, now go. Make this count. She closed the channel before anyone could argue. Then she looked at her crew. Anyone who wants to evacuate, you have 30 seconds. Get to the escape pods, Lieutenant Jae-sung stayed at his station. So did the helm officer, the engineer, and most of the bridge crew. Where you go, we go, Commander, Jae-sung said. Ji-won felt pride swell in her chest. Then hold on tight. This is going to hurt. The ESS Vengeance turned toward the Council flagship and accelerated. The ship's engines pushed beyond safety limits, beyond design specifications. The whole vessel shook with the strain. The Council commander saw the human ship coming. He ordered all weapons to fire on it. Everything the flagship had, every gun, every missile launcher, every energy beam. The combined firepower should have vaporized the human vessel instantly, but the Vengeance's shields held. They were made with technology the Council hadn't seen before, adapted from theories the aliens thought were impossible. The ship blazed through the weapons fire like a comet. Brace for impact, Ji-won shouted. Evacuate now. All hands to escape pods. The crew had seconds. They ran for the pods, Ji-won and her bridge officers right behind them. The pods launched just as the Vengeance hit the Council flagship. The collision was catastrophic. The human ship's nose punched through the flagship's shields and buried itself deep in the alien vessel's hull. For a moment, both ships hung together in space, locked in a deadly embrace. Then both reactors went critical at the same time. The explosion lit up the Sol system like a new sun. Debris spread in all directions. The Council flagship disintegrated completely. The Vengeance was gone. Admiral Dongwoo watched from Earth's command center. He had known Ji-won for 10 years. She had been brilliant, brave, and dedicated. Now she was gone, but her sacrifice was not in vain. The Council fleet was in chaos. Their command ship was destroyed. Their formation was broken. Ships collided with each other or spun helplessly in the gravity fields. Some tried to retreat, but Subin had placed gravity wells at all the hyperspace exit points. Mines floated there too, waiting. All ships press the attack, Dongwoo ordered. His voice was cold now, empty of emotion. There would be time to grieve later. Show no mercy. They came to exterminate us. Return the favor. Earth's fleet struck with fury. Every ship remembered what the Council had done. Every pilot fought for their homes, their families, their future. They were outnumbered, but they were fighting for survival. That made all the difference. Captain Dongmin Shin commanded the destroyer ESS Wrathful. He led a group of smaller ships in hit-and-run attacks, striking Council vessels and darting away before they could respond. His team destroyed 7 enemy ships in an hour. The battle lasted for 6 hours. By the end, 70% of the Council fleet was destroyed. Burning wreckage orbited Earth like a metal graveyard. The surviving Council ships finally managed to surrender. Admiral Dongwoo accepted their surrender but kept them under heavy guard. He didn't trust them. Not anymore. Not ever again. The cost had been terrible. 8 million civilians dead from orbital bombardment before the battle started. 40% of Earth's military fleet destroyed. 3 orbital stations reduced to debris. And Ji-won Lee, one of humanity's best commanders, gone forever. But Earth still stood. Humanity survived. General Myung-suk entered the command center, her uniform torn and bloody. Admiral, the Council prisoners are asking for terms. They want to negotiate. Dongwoo looked at the tactical display, at all the red markers showing destroyed ships and stations. He thought about the 8 million dead. About Taiyang. About Ji-won. Tell them we'll discuss terms, he said slowly, right after we visit their homeworlds. General Myung-suk understood. You want a counterattack? They came to our home, Dongwoo replied. They threatened our families. They tried to exterminate our species. Yes, I want a counterattack. I want to make sure they never threaten us again. He turned to face the room full of officers. Prepare the fleet. We're going on the offensive. Time to show the galaxy what happens when you attack humanity. Commander Ji-won Lee was reviewing patrol reports when her communications officer suddenly jumped up from his station. Lieutenant Jae-sung Lim looked pale, which was never a good sign. Commander, we have an emergency message. It's using the old codes, the ones from before we joined the Council. Ji-won felt ice form in her stomach. Those codes were only supposed to be used if the Council itself became the enemy. She crossed the bridge of the ESS Vengeance in 3 quick strides. Show me. The message was from Dr. Hana Kim. Ji-won knew her. They had met at a military science conference 2 years ago. Hana was brilliant and careful. She wouldn't use these codes unless something terrible had happened. Ji-won read the message twice. Then she read the attached files. By the time she finished, her hands were shaking with rage. "All crew battle stations," she announced over the ship's intercom. Her voice was calm, but everyone who knew her could hear the steel underneath. "Plot a course for Earth, maximum speed. We're going home." "Commander," her navigation officer said nervously. "That will take us through Council tracking stations. They'll see us." "I'm counting on it," Ji-won replied. "They want a war. Let's show them what they're dealing with." The ESS Vengeance turned toward home and jumped into hyperspace. Behind them, Council tracking stations immediately noticed the unauthorized movement. Within minutes, 3 interceptor squadrons were dispatched to stop the human ship. The battle started badly for Ji-won. The Council ships were fast, and there were many of them. They came out of hyperspace right on top of the Vengeance, weapons already firing. "Shields holding," Lieutenant Jae-sung reported, "but not for long. They're coordinating their attacks." "Then let's uncoordinate them," Ji-won said. She had studied the Council ships for years. They were old designs, proven but predictable. Target their lead ship's engines. Fire everything. The Vengeance's weapons lit up the darkness of space. Earth's newest railguns fired solid projectiles at a fraction of light speed. They punched through the lead Council ship's shields like they weren't even there. The ship exploded in a brilliant flash. The other Council ships hesitated. That moment of uncertainty was all Ji-won needed. She ordered evasive maneuvers that no Council captain would expect, patterns that would stress a ship's structure to the breaking point. But human ships were built tougher than most species realized. The chase lasted for 6 hours. Ji-won's crew destroyed 2 entire squadrons. The 3rd squadron damaged the Vengeance's engines, but by then it was too late. The human ship crossed into the Sol system, with the surviving Council vessels limping behind. Earth's defense platforms immediately powered up. The Council ships saw them, calculated their odds, and turned back. They wouldn't report this failure to their superiors. They couldn't. It would reveal that a single human ship had defeated 3 squadrons. The ESS Vengeance docked at Orbital Station Omega. Captain Byung-ho. Yoon was waiting for Ji-won as she stepped off her ship. He looked grim. "The Admiral is already here," Byung-ho said. "He arrived 6 hours ago. Command wants you in the war room immediately." Ji-won nodded. She was exhausted, but there would be time to rest later. Maybe, if they all survived what was coming. The war room was deep inside Earth's military headquarters in Geneva. General Myung-suk Han stood at the head of a large table covered with holographic displays. Admiral Dongwoo Park was there too, looking older than Ji-won remembered. Several other officers filled the room. "Commander Lee," General Myung-suk said, "your report was received. How long do we have?" "The Council fleet will be here in 14 hours, Ji-won replied. "Maybe less. They're not hiding anymore. I detected their hyperspace signatures on my way in. It's a full battle fleet, at least 200 ships." The room went silent. 200 ships. Earth had maybe 60 warships ready for combat, and most were smaller than Council vessels. "We should evacuate," one officer said. "Get our people to the outer colonies. Surrender Earth and rebuild somewhere else." "No." Admiral Dongwoo's voice cut through the room like a blade. "If we run now, we'll run forever. They'll hunt us down, colony by colony, until humanity is extinct. We make our stand here." General Myung-suk studied the tactical displays. "We can't win a straight fight. They have superior numbers." "Then we don't fight straight," Ji-won said. All eyes turned to her. "Dr. Hana Kim sent me research data. The Council species haven't fought a real war in centuries. They've forgotten how. Their tactics are old. Their weapons haven't evolved. But ours have." An older woman stepped forward. Engineer Subin Kang had designed most of Earth's newest weapons systems. She was small and quiet, but her mind was legendary. "Commander Lee is correct," Subin said. "I've been reviewing the data. Council shields are strong against energy weapons, but weak against kinetic impacts. Their formations are tight. Good for intimidation, but bad for maneuverability. And they have no defense against gravity manipulation." "Gravity manipulation?" General Myung-suk leaned forward. "Explain." Subin activated a new display. It showed a network of satellites surrounding Earth. "Project Reckoning. We built it for asteroid mining. The satellites generate localized gravity wells to pull ore into collection orbits. But if we increase the power and coordinate them properly, She pressed a button. The simulation showed council ships being pulled together, colliding, unable to maintain formation. Admiral Dongwu smiled for the first time since arriving. How long to reprogram the satellites? It's already done, Subin replied. I started when the commander's message arrived. We just need to activate them. Then here's what we do, General Myung-suk said. She began outlining a battle plan. It was desperate and dangerous. Many Earth ships would be destroyed. Many people would die. But it gave them a chance. Ji-won listened carefully. Her part in the plan was crucial. She would lead the forward strike group directly at the council center. She would make them think Earth was attempting a suicide run. That would bring all their attention to the front while the real trap was prepared. It's risky, she said when the general finished. We'll take heavy casualties. I know, General Myung-suk replied. That's why I'm asking for volunteers only. No one will be ordered to fly this mission. I volunteer, Ji-won said immediately. Lieutenant Jae-sung, who had followed her to the meeting, raised his hand too. Within minutes, every officer in the room had volunteered. Above Earth, Captain Byung-ho worked with his crew to prepare the orbital platforms. They had never been designed for war, but they would serve. They had to. Across the planet, cities went dark as power was diverted to weapons and shields. Billions of people looked up at the stars and waited. They knew what was coming. The news had spread quickly. Humanity's short time in the stars might be over, but if it was going to end, it would end fighting. Admiral Dongwu stood in the command center, watching the countdown clock. 12 hours until the council fleet arrived. 12 hours until the battle that would decide humanity's future. He thought about Tae Yang, his friend who died on Nexus Prime. He thought about all the people who would die in the coming battle. He thought about his daughter, who was evacuating to Mars with millions of other non-combatants. Then he pushed those thoughts away. There would be time for grief later. Right now he had a war to win. All ships, he transmitted. All stations. All defense platforms. This is Admiral Dongwu Park. In a few hours an enemy fleet will arrive. They come to destroy us because they fear us. They fear our potential. They fear our future. Show them their fear is justified. Show them what humanity can do when we fight for our home. For Earth! The response came back from 60 warships, from orbital platforms, from defense stations. Thousands of voices all saying the same thing. For Earth. The countdown continued. The enemy was coming. Admiral Dongwu Park stood in the Great Hall of Nexus Prime, the massive space station that orbited between galaxies. His hands were clenched behind his back as he watched the 7 alien representatives of the Galactic Council take their seats. The hall was silent except for the soft humming of the translation devices everyone wore in their ears. Dongwu had been Earth's representative for 5 years now. He had fought hard to earn the trust of these ancient species. Humanity was still young compared to them. Humans had only joined the Council 32 years ago, right after first contact. Most of the alien races had been traveling the stars for thousands of years, some even longer. The lead counselor, a tall creature with silver skin and too many eyes, raised one thin arm. This emergency session is now open, it said. Its voice was cold and mechanical through the translator. We have grave news to share with all members. Dongwu felt his stomach tighten. Something was wrong. He could sense it in the air. Next to him, Ambassador Taeyang Choi shifted nervously. Taeyang was younger, only 38, but he had good instincts about people. Even alien people. We have discovered, the counselor continued, that the human species has been developing forbidden weapons, planet killers. This violates the treaty that all members signed. Dongwu's blood went cold. That's a lie, he said loudly. His voice echoed in the huge chamber. Earth has followed every rule. We've opened our facilities to inspection. We have nothing to hide. The counselor's many eyes blinked slowly. We have proof. It gestured with one long finger. A holographic display appeared in the center of the room, showing what looked like weapons designs, research notes, and construction schedules. The documents all had Earth military stamps on them, but Dongwu knew immediately they were fake. He had seen those exact facility codes before. They didn't match the real ones. The timestamps were wrong too. Someone had made these documents to frame humanity. I demand an independent investigation, Dongwu said firmly. These documents are forgeries. Give us time to prove it. The 7 counselors looked at each other. No words were spoken, but Dongwu got the feeling they were communicating somehow. Finally, the lead counselor spoke again. Request denied. The evidence is clear. The council votes now on appropriate action. One by one, the counselors voted. Each one said the same word. Approved. They voted to authorize a military strike against Earth, against his home, against his family. Dongwu felt rage building in his chest, but he kept his voice steady. You're making a terrible mistake. If you attack Earth, there will be consequences. The lead counselor stood up, towering over everyone. The strike fleet has already been dispatched. They will reach your sol system in 72 hours. If humanity surrenders all weapons and submits to occupation, your species may survive. If not, it didn't finish the sentence. Taeyang grabbed Dongwu's arm. We need to leave now. But it was already too late. Armed guards, creatures in heavy armor from different alien species, were moving into position at every exit. The council was going to arrest them. Across the station in the research quarter, Dr. Hana Kim was working late in her laboratory. She was studying alien biology, trying to understand how different species evolved on different worlds. It was fascinating work, and she often lost track of time. Her computer beeped with an incoming message. It was flagged as urgent and heavily encrypted. Hana frowned. She wasn't supposed to get military communications. She was just a scientist. She opened the file carefully. What she saw made her hands start shaking. The message was intercepted council communications, secret orders, battle plans, and worst of all, the truth about the fake evidence against Earth. The council had made it all up. They were afraid of humanity. In just 32 years, humans had developed technology that took other species centuries to create. Earth's ships were faster. Earth's weapons were more accurate. Earth's scientists were learning too quickly. The old species feared being left behind by the newcomers. So they decided to destroy humanity before humans became too strong. Hana's mind raced. She had to warn someone. But who could she trust? The council controlled all communications from the station. They would intercept any normal message. Then she remembered Commander Jiwon Lee. Lee commanded the ESS Vengeance, one of Earth's newest and most powerful warships. She was on patrol somewhere in the Outer Rim. If Hana could reach her using the old emergency codes, the ones the council didn't know about, Hana's fingers flew over her keyboard. She compressed all the evidence into a single file and attached a simple message. They betrayed us. Trust only Earth. Get home now. She hit send and prayed it would reach Commander Lee in time. In the Great Hall, chaos had erupted. Dongwu and Taeyang were fighting their way toward a side exit. Other human diplomats and staff members joined them. The alien guards tried to stop them, but humans were stronger than most species expected, stronger and more desperate. Taeyang tackled one guard, buying Dongwu time to reach the door. Go, Taeyang shouted. Get to the transport bay. Not without you, Dongwu yelled back, but more guards were coming. Too many. Taeyang looked at his friend one last time. Tell my wife I love her. Tell Earth what happened here. Make them pay for this. Before Dongwu could respond, Taeyang charged at the approaching soldiers. He fought like a man possessed, giving the others precious seconds to escape. Dongwu heard weapons fire behind him as he ran. He didn't look back. He couldn't. Taeyang had given his life to save them. The human group reached the transport bay. They killed the guards there and seized a small ship. It wasn't meant for long-distance travel, but it would have to do. As they launched from the station, Dongwu sent out a broadcast on all frequencies. This is Admiral Dongwu Park of Earth. The Galactic Council has betrayed us. They fabricated evidence and declared war. A fleet is coming to attack our home, but I swear to you all, on every star in this galaxy, they will regret this day. You call us dangerous? You haven't seen anything yet. We're coming home and then we're coming for you. He cut the transmission and looked at the faces of the other survivors. They were scared. They were angry. They were ready to fight. Set course for Earth, Dongwu ordered. Maximum speed. Our people need to know what's coming. As the small ship jumped into hyperspace, Dongwu stared at the stars streaking past. Somewhere out there, a massive enemy fleet was heading toward his home, toward his planet, toward everything humanity had built. But Earth wouldn't face this threat unprepared. Not if he could help it. The Council had made one critical mistake. They assumed humans would be easy to defeat because humanity was young. They forgot that young species fight harder. Young species have more to lose. Young species remember how to survive. The Council was about to learn a very painful lesson about humanity. War was coming to the stars, and this time Earth would not be the victim. News of humanity's counterattack spread across the galaxy faster than light. Every species, every civilization, every planet with the ability to receive transmissions heard the same story. The 7 Council species, the oldest and most powerful civilizations in known space, had been defeated by humanity in less than a week. On 1,000 worlds, alien leaders watched the footage. They saw Earth's ships destroying military installations with terrifying precision. They saw ancient civilizations brought to their knees. They saw what happened when you threatened humanity. Some species were horrified. Others were secretly pleased to see the Council's power broken. But all of them were afraid. If humanity could do this to the Council, what could they do to anyone else? Admiral Jiwan Lee's strike fleet regrouped at the edge of Council space. They had completed their missions with minimal casualties. The ships were battered but intact. The crews were exhausted but victorious. "Admiral, we're receiving hundreds of transmissions," Lieutenant Jae-sung reported. "Other alien civilizations. They're asking for alliances, offering tribute, requesting peace treaties." Jiwan looked at the list of incoming messages. Species she had never heard of were begging for humanity's friendship. Civilizations that had ignored Earth for 30 years suddenly wanted to be allies. "File them all," she said. "Earth's diplomats can sort through them later. Right now we're going home." The fleet jumped back to the Sol system. When they emerged near Earth, they found the planet had changed. New orbital stations were already under construction. Ships were being repaired in zero-gravity docks. Life was returning to normal, or at least a new version of normal. Admiral Dongwu met Jiwan at the docking bay. She was still recovering from her injuries, but she walked off her ship without assistance. Pride wouldn't let her show weakness, not after what they had accomplished. "Welcome home, Admiral," Dongwu said. He had promoted her officially while she was on the mission. "You did well." "We all did," Jiwan replied. "But it doesn't feel like victory, not with 8 million dead." Dongwu nodded. He understood. Victory was supposed to feel good, but this just felt necessary. "Come with me. There's something you should see." He took her to the memorial being built in Geneva, where Earth's government building stood. The memorial was a massive wall made of black stone. On it were inscribed the names of everyone who died in the Council's attack. 8 million names. It would take days to read them all. "We remember them," Dongwu said quietly. "Every single one, and we make sure their deaths meant something." Jiwan found her sister's name on the wall, along with her niece and nephew. She placed her hand on the cold stone and closed her eyes. "We avenged you," she whispered. "All of you." Behind them, the sounds of construction continued. Earth was rebuilding. Humanity was moving forward. But they would never forget. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy underwent a massive shift in power. The old Galactic Council was dissolved. The 7 member species no longer had the authority or the military strength to enforce their rules. In its place, a new organization formed, the Assembly of Free Worlds. It was different from the Council. Every species had an equal vote, regardless of age or size. Decisions were made democratically, not by decree from ancient elders. And Earth was its guarantor. Humanity provided the military force that ensured no one species could dominate the others. Admiral Jiwan Lee was appointed as the Assembly's supreme commander, leading a fleet drawn from dozens of different worlds. Dr. Hana Kim led scientific exchanges between species. She shared human technology with others, but carefully. Earth wasn't going to make the mistake of teaching potential enemies how to build better weapons. But medical technology, agricultural advances, environmental systems, those were shared freely. Engineer Subin Kang continued developing new weapons and defenses. She worked with General Myung-suk Han to ensure Earth always maintained its technological edge. The galaxy might be at peace now, but humanity would never be caught unprepared again. Captain Byung-ho Yoon commanded a new generation of orbital defense platforms. These were bigger and more powerful than the old ones. They incorporated lessons learned from the battle. If anyone attacked Earth again, They would face defenses that made the previous battle look like a small skirmish. Captain Dongmin Shin was promoted and given command of a carrier group. His mission was to patrol the outer territories, showing Earth's flag and reminding everyone that humanity was watching. Major Hyewan Baek trained a new generation of Marines. Her students came from Earth and from allied worlds. She taught them tactics, strategy, and one critical lesson: never start a fight, but always finish it. 5 years passed. Earth's colonies expanded to 20 new worlds. Human technology spread through the galaxy, improving lives on hundreds of planets. Trade flourished. Culture was exchanged. The galaxy was more connected than it had been in millennia. But Earth never stopped building weapons, never stopped training soldiers, never stopped preparing for the day someone might threaten them again. Admiral Dongwu, now retired from active duty, visited schools across Earth. He told young people the story of what happened. He made sure they understood the price of freedom and the cost of victory. The council thought we were weak because we were young, he told one classroom. They forgot that young species remember how to fight. They remember what it takes to survive. Never forget that lesson. Never become so comfortable that you forget how to defend yourselves. On distant worlds, alien parents told their children stories about humanity. The stories always ended the same way. Never threaten a human's home. They will fight with everything they have. They will never surrender, and they will make you regret ever challenging them. The 7 former council species slowly rebuilt. Earth allowed them to maintain civilian infrastructure, but monitored their military development closely. Some of them held grudges. Others accepted their new place in the galaxy, but all of them feared humanity now. Admiral Jiwan Lee stood on the bridge of her flagship, the ESS Eternity, watching a convoy of trade ships pass through human-protected space. The convoy included ships from 20 different species, all traveling safely because Earth's fleet kept the peace. "Do you ever regret it?" Lieutenant Jae-sung asked her quietly. He was a captain now, her second in command. "What we did to the council worlds?" Jiwan thought about that question for a long moment. "No," she finally said. "They started the war. They tried to exterminate us. We just finished what they began. The galaxy is better now, more free, more equal. Sometimes terrible things have to happen for better things to follow." She looked at the stars, spread out before her like diamonds on black velvet. Somewhere out there, Earth's colonies were growing. Human children were being born on worlds their grandparents never dreamed of visiting. Humanity was thriving. "We did what we had to do," she continued, "and we made sure no one will ever threaten Earth again. That's enough for me." On Earth, Admiral Dongwu stood at the memorial wall one more time. He was older now, his hair completely gray, but his eyes were still sharp. He placed his hand on Ambassador Tae Yang's name. "We won, old friend. We won, and we made sure it counted. Earth is safe. Humanity is strong. The galaxy knows better than to threaten us now." The sun was setting over Geneva, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. Construction continued on new buildings, new ships, new defenses. Earth never stopped moving forward. Dongwu smiled. It was a sad smile, remembering all the people who died to make this peace possible. But it was also a proud smile. Humanity had faced extinction and survived. They had been betrayed and struck back. They had proven themselves to the galaxy. The Council had attacked Earth expecting easy victory. Instead, they learned the hard way what humans had known for millennia. Never underestimate someone fighting for their home. The betrayal had cost millions of lives, but humanity's response ensured those deaths were not in vain. The Council's fleet had come to destroy Earth. Earth's fleet struck back and left nothing standing, and the galaxy would never forget. 50 years later, on a colony world at the edge of explored space, a human teacher named Min Seo asked her students a question. "Who can tell me why we celebrate Victory Day?" A young boy raised his hand. "Because Earth won a war." "More than that," Min Seo said. "We celebrate it because humanity proved we belong among the stars. We proved that we could defend ourselves. We proved that betrayal has consequences. The Council thought they could destroy us because we were young. They learned they were wrong. Remember that lesson. Humanity survived not because we were the strongest, but because we refused to give up. The students nodded, understanding. They had grown up in a galaxy where Earth was respected and feared, a galaxy where humanity walked proudly among the stars. Outside the school, construction crews were building new settlements. Families were making homes on alien soil. Children played under alien stars. Earth had survived. Humanity had thrived. And the galaxy was forever changed by what happened when the Council betrayed Earth and Earth's fleet struck back. The lesson was clear. Never threaten humanity. Because, if you do, there will be nothing left standing when they're done with you.